All right, in this video we're going to be looking at the AGMS Gateway QuickBooks plugin. You see here I have QuickBooks pulled up on the screen, and we're going to be going over 4 of the most basic and most powerful features that the QuickBooks plugin has in it. Those are the process payment and swipe payment feature, the run batch and batch report feature, the AGMS syncs, and finally the edit and update safe records feature, all within QuickBooks. So the very first thing that we're going to look at is the Customer Center, though. The Customer Center is something built into QuickBooks. You don't need to be an expert in QuickBooks to understand what the plugin is doing and how to use the plugin. You just need to know a few basics about QuickBooks, and that's what we're going to use the Customer Center here to illustrate. So you'll notice that we have a list of clients here. All of these clients have open invoices, open totals that we need to collect payment for. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be processing payments within QuickBooks and applying them to each of these clients' open invoices and open balances. So we'll go and close out of the Customer Center right now. And the next screen that we're going to bring up is actually the AGMS Gateway itself, specifically the Customer Safe. Now, if you haven't already seen the videos for the AGMS Gateway, I highly recommend you check those out, specifically in regard to the Customer Safe. We're not going to get too far into it here, just know that those are out there for your reference. But what we want to show you here in the Customer Safe is that we have those clients that we just saw in the Customer Center already saved in the gateway. That means all of these clients' customer credit card information is stored here within the safe, securely, of course, and this is where we're actually going to be processing the payments. The gateway is what actually sends the payments through to the processor. We're going to be using the customer data that's stored within the safe to do so. We're just sending that message, sending that signal to the gateway to process those payments from QuickBooks. So let's go back to QuickBooks now and actually process a few payments. So the first thing that we're going to look at is the process payment function. We'll go up here to our customers tab. When you install the QuickBooks plugin, the very first thing that you'll notice, the first difference, is that you have a new option down here at the bottom of your customers tab that says AGMS. That is the plugin. That's where you're going to do all of your work from. So we'll highlight the first option here, process payment. And this brings up a new window where we can take a new transaction. This can be a brand new transaction with a new credit card number, and you can create a new customer here within QuickBooks right from this screen. You see up here at the top right, we have our radio buttons. We can apply this to any customer's open invoices, apply it to a specific invoice, create new sales receipts, or just apply these to sales receipts that already exist within QuickBooks. You can also update an existing QuickBooks customer or update the credit card information already stored within QuickBooks using these buttons here. For our demo, we're not going to do any of that. We're just going to pull up one of our existing customers. Let's use the Acme Inc. And we see here that the Acme company owes us $99. So you'll notice down here at this little checkbox, you have previously billed this client with credit card or ACH. Check this box to use the information on file to bill this client. That's where the customer safe is coming in. The gateway recognizes that we have a card already saved on file for Acme, and it asks if we want to use that card to process payments. If we don't, if Acme has a new card or they don't want to use the card on file for this particular transaction, we can uncheck that box, and now we're allowed to type in new credit card information right here. If this was completely replacing the card already on file, we can select this checkbox down here. That updates the safe record, and then the next time you process a transaction using the QuickBooks plugin, Acme Inc. will use the credit card information that you type here. For us, though, we're going to use the one that's already saved on file, so I'm going to go ahead and check this box again. Of course, we can fill out any billing information, shipping information. You would probably want to do that in a normal setting. For our demo, we're just going to leave all that blank. And let's go ahead and process a transaction now. We don't want to process the full $99 in this case. Let's say we're only going to take $50. So we'll type in our $50 amount here, hit process and close. And we'll immediately get a transaction result that confirms that this transaction was successful. If for whatever reason the card declined or you got any sort of failure, you'd be immediately notified right here on this window. But in this case, the transaction was successful, so we can go ahead and close out of here. And let's take a look at their customer center again. Actually, we can receive this payment as well once the transaction is done. I'm just going to go ahead and receive it at its normal spot. So I'm going to just save and close this $50 transaction. And now if we go to our customer center, we can see that Acme no longer owes us $99. The balance is down to $49. The next option down in the AGMS plugin is the swipe payment. That's exactly like what we just saw. The only difference is that this will allow you to swipe transactions if you have a Magtech swiper attached to your computer. We don't, so we're going to get this message that says no card swiper was detected. That's fine. We can go ahead and close out of here. Just know that it's the exact same feature. It just adds the element of a swipe transaction to that function within the QuickBooks plugin. Next, we're going to look at the Run Batch and the Batch Reports feature here within the QuickBooks plugin. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the Customer section again, AGMS, and click on Run Batch. So what the Run Batch function does is it will pull up any customer who has an open invoice within QuickBooks and also has a customer card information saved within the AGMS safe. We can sort those or we can filter those using these buttons here. If you have a specific date range or a due date that you're looking at, you can filter those out right here in this section. But for us, we're just going to filter everything. No date range filter at all. So we'll click Filter. And it pulls up all of our customers who have an open balance and have a safe record within the AGMS safe. We can edit any of these balances to run our transaction, and we can select which ones we actually want to process. So we'll take the first two here and deselect them. So now with our remaining 6, we can edit the amount that we're going to be charging them. For example, Texas Teas, they owe us $100, but if I click that amount, it brings up this second box, and we can change that $100 amount to $50.
And we'll click OK, and you can see that change down here in the balance column.
As well with the next one down, Smith Processing, who owes us $60, and we'll only charge them $30 in this amount. The rest of them we'll leave as is, so these Acme, Jones, Alamo, and Jake's Burgers should all have zero balance due when we're done with this Run Batch function. So now that we've got all of our clients where we need them to be, we're going to go ahead and click on Run Batch down here at the bottom. And we'll get this box here that shows all of these transactions being processed. At the end of the process, we will get a confirmation message that the batch has completed. And we'll see here a quick rundown of it. The batch has completed. Total records that were attempted were 6, and we have 5 of them that were successful and 1 failure. So we'll want to see what that failure actually was. We're going to close out of this window now. And let's go view our batch report. Again, within the AGMS spot underneath the Customers tab. And we'll click on View Batch Reports. Now this is where you can view a report for any batch that you've run in the past. For us, we're just going to select the one that we just did today. So we'll click right here. And it brings up all of the information for that batch that we attempted just a few moments ago. We see here that the first 5 were approved, and we had 1 that wasn't. It was Jake's Burgers. Let's go ahead and scroll to the right and see what the status message is. And it's telling us that the safe ID was inactive. So that means the safe ID within the AGMS safe, within the gateway, was marked as inactive for whatever reason. So we know that the Jake's Burgers account needs attention, and we're going to need to form another way to process, maybe go into the safe and reactivate their safe record, or just take another form of payment to get that $20 transaction down. The rest of the transactions that we see here all were approved. So let's go ahead and close out of this batch. And let's take a look at our Customer Center. And we can see here that Acme, Alamo, Jones, they're all back down to a $0 amount. Texas Teas, only $50. Smith Processing, only $30. So we were able to process successfully on all of those transactions. And we see here that the Jake's Burgers, who had a failure, still owes us the $20 that they originally did. Next, we're going to look at the AGMS syncs function. To do that, we're actually going to pull up the AGMS gateway one more time. And this time we're going to go over to process payment. Now, what the AGMS syncs function does is it will take any transaction that you've previously run on the gateway or on a hosted payment page or on a mobile swiper using the gateway with your phone or your tablet. It takes all of those transactions that were processed directly on the gateway and it will pull them into QuickBooks for you to apply to whatever business, whatever account or invoice that you need to. So let's go ahead and process this real quick. We're going to process a $20 transaction. Go ahead and type in a card number. All right, so we've got our payment information in there, and we're going to go ahead and hit process transaction. As you know, on the gateway, you'll immediately get a successful message or a decline, whatever the result of that transaction was. In this case, it was a successful transaction for $20 applied on this customer's card. Now, I went ahead and filled out the billing name is Jake's Burgers, and the billing company is just Jake's. So we have a good idea of which account in QuickBooks that we're going to be applying it to. So let's go right back to QuickBooks and check it out. Again, the AGMS syncs function is under the Customers tab in AGMS, and you'll see it right down here, AGMS syncs. We'll open that. We do need to select a revenue account, so I'm just going to go ahead and select that and click on Start Sync. Now we're going to get a message that says this action may take a long time depending on how many transactions that you have in the gateway that have not been applied into QuickBooks yet. For us, it shouldn't take very long at all since we only have the one, so we're going to click OK. It'll search the gateway, and here's our results. We have one transaction, the one that we just ran. We have the first name Jake's, the last name Burgers, and the company is just Jake's that I've typed in here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to click this transaction anywhere on this line. And this window is where we're actually going to apply that transaction to an open invoice within QuickBooks. Now, it automatically reads that the company's name was Jake's, so it's suggesting that we put this at Jake's Burgers. We can select any customer within QuickBooks and apply it to them. For us, we're just going to leave it at Jake's Burgers. And we can change any of the billing information or create a new sales receipt that we need to directly from this screen. For us, we're just going to apply it to Jake's Burgers, and that'll be that. I'm going to go ahead and click the Next button here. What this does is it will sort through any transactions that you pulled up using the syncs function. Since this was the only transaction that we had, we get this message that says you've reached the last record. That's a good indication that we're ready to proceed with the batch report. But if you have a bunch of transactions that you ran on the gateway and you're pulling them into the QuickBooks, you don't have to select back with this other screen that we just saw. We don't have to select each one and apply them. You can just scroll through them using this screen. So we'll go ahead and click on OK and click Done and click Continue Sync. We'll get a message that says this manual process has completed. We'll go and close. And now if we open up our Customer Center one more time, we'll see that Jake's Burgers now owes us $0 since we applied that manually, applied that transaction of $20 to Jake's Burgers. The last thing that we'll look at is the Update and Edit Safe Records function. And this is a way to update the safe record, update any credit card information or billing information in the gateway without ever logging into the gateway. If, for example, we take Alamo, and Alamo has let us know that they have a new credit card on file, what we can do is take that credit card information, again right here within QuickBooks, type in the new card number. We can add any other information that we need to, phone number, email address, billing information, or shipping information. And we'll click on Update, Safe, and Close. Now, if we had a lot that we need to do at one time, we could just hit Update, Safe, and New, and that will allow us to edit a new customer safe record. But for us, we only want to adjust Alamo's safe record, so we're going to hit Update, Safe, and Close. We'll get another confirmation message. The status message on this is really important. You can see safe record updated successfully, but no transaction was processed. That means no deduction was made on that customer's card. All we did was update the safe record within the AGMS gateway. So we'll go ahead and click on OK. And now the next time that we process a transaction using QuickBooks or within the gateway using the customer safe, it will have Alamo's new credit card information stored on there. So that was a quick look at the AGMS Gateway QuickBooks plugin. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't seen the other videos regarding the AGMS Gateway, I highly recommend you do so. There's some great information there. And until next time, thank you very much for watching and hope you have a great day.